All right, let's dive in. Today we're looking at a power washing and how often you should be doing it, especially for those of us living in Adelaide.
Power washing, huh? Sounds exciting.
Well, maybe not the most glamorous topic, but trust me, it gets interesting.
Once a month, twice a year.
Well, they actually recommend once a year as a good starting point for most homes in Adelaide.
Once a year? That's not as often as I thought.
Well, according to the article, over a year, your average Adelaide home gets hit with a lot of stuff. You know, those dry summers with all the red dust blowing in from the desert.
Tell me about it. My car is constantly covered in a layer of red.
I feel you. And then you've got the wetter winters, which can lead to mold and mildew growth, plus just the general dirt and pollutants that build up over time.
But the article also mentioned that where you live in Adelaide can make a difference, right? Like near the coast versus further inland.
Yes. That's what really caught my eye. I hadn't even considered that location could play such a big role.
So what's the deal with the coast? Salt air makes things extra dirty or something.
Pretty much. So the article suggests that if you're in that situation, a power wash every 6 to 9 months might be a better idea.
Wow, so even within Adelaide, there's a lot of variation.
I know, right? It's making me really think about my own house and its surroundings.
Me too. It's definitely more complex than I initially thought. What about other factors, though? Like, are there any situations where you might need to power wash even more frequently than every 6 months?
Absolutely. Think about living near a dirt road or a construction site. All that dust and debris flying around.
Ah, yeah, I see your point.
The article suggested in those cases, power washing every 6 months might be the way to go, just to stay ahead of all that grime.
Okay, that makes sense. So we've got climate, location, anything else that can affect how often you need to power wash.
Well, think about those sudden events that can totally mess up your cleaning schedule. You know, like a crazy storm or one of those infamous Adelaide dust storms.
Oh yeah, those dust storms are no joke. They coat everything in a thick layer of red. And don't even heavy rains sometimes make things worse, like splattering mud everywhere.
Exactly. So the article points out that after those kinds of events, an extra power wash might be necessary. Just to get things back to normal, you know, like hitting the reset button on your home's exterior.
A reset button for your house, I like that.
And speaking of feeling good, have you ever noticed how much better a fresh coat of paint looks on a surface that's been properly power washed?
Oh, absolutely. Like if you're planning to repaint your house or even just do a little touch-up, power washing beforehand makes a world of difference.
Right. It's like prepping a canvas for a masterpiece. You need that clean, smooth surface to get the best results.
Couldn't agree more. So whether you're doing a full-blown renovation or just sprucing things up, power washing is a must-do. It's all about setting the stage for a beautiful transformation. Now, speaking of professionals, that brings me to our next point. When is it time to call in the experts rather than attempting to DIY?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. I mean, power washing seems pretty straightforward, but I'm sure there are times when it's better to leave it to the pros.
Absolutely. Like if you're dealing with any of those caution zone surfaces we just talked about, older wood, delicate stone, it's almost always a good idea to call in a professional.
Okay, that makes sense.